Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I've owned this Shoei Neotec 3 for about a month now. I think it's about time we went for a spin, and I'll tell you what I think of it. And welcome aboard, folks. Now, before we kick off, I should explain that during the course of this short video, I am going to be riding on two bikes because I would deem it totally unfair to test a new helmet on a bike with a windscreen like this. So after I've done my little ramblings on this bike, I'll head out on the street triple, which is a naked bike, of course, and we'll get the full force of the wind and see how it feels with that as well. So first off, well, my first observation is that true to its sizing charts, it fits very, very snug. I've been the owner of a GT 2 for the last 4 years, so I'm so impressed with Shoei helmets. I pretty much wanted to stay with the brand. I had tried different helmets on in shops, and whilst they all fitted, I found their sizing was very different, so I was sort of reluctant to order online. So I really did want to buy from a shop. I bought this from Crossan Motorcycles up in Newry, Northern Ireland. Anyway, to feel on the head, it fits really good. I'm size large, and again, my GT 2 was a size large. I just fancied a change. Nothing wrong with the GT 2, by the way. I got a new bike come in. If you're a follower of the channel, you'll be aware of that, and I just fancied a change of helmet as well. I also wanted the flip up front. I've got a few tours planned this year, like Route 66. I'll be taking this helmet with me because obviously in warmer climates I'd love to just be able to flip up the front. Okay, the next thing I should point out after the size and the fitting is the strap. I really don't like this, is it the D-ring they call it? The RI helmets and other helmets have the D-ring, and I know it's what you're used to. I've got the D-ring on a couple of helmets like the Scorpions, which there's no way I'll use anymore. Don't even get me started about Scorpion helmets. But I just do not like the D-ring system, so I wanted this sort of ratchet system. Again, it's because I'm used to it. Some swear by the D-ring and say it's the safest lock there is on a helmet, and that's fair enough, but I've never had any problems in the last 4 years of riding motorbikes with my ratchet system. So I went for the same, just because I like the fact that you can open and close it with your gloves on. And one of the things Shoei improved is the actual fabric over the top of the strap, which goes underneath your chin, and I have to say it's very noticeable. So they've made the strap itself a bit thinner, which is nice, because you can barely feel it underneath your chin, especially with the lovely sort of plush leatherette fabric which sits between the strap and the underneath of your chin. So I know they've built this with comfort in mind, and they've certainly done that with the chin strap. The other thing you've done, and again it's very noticeable, because I'll talk about the noise in the helmet. Now, unfortunately, I don't have all of the electronic instruments to measure noise levels, dBs and whatever else, and wind resistance and all that crack. All I can tell you is from a user experience. There are other websites and YouTube channels out there which will give you all of that info if you do want to know that. But from a user experience, the noise inside this helmet is so much quieter, and when I was reading the blurb online, I do know that Shoei increased the width, if you like, of the leatherette panels which surround the underneath of the helmet, going in underneath your head, basically, to make the helmet a much tighter fit into your neck. And again, it feels very sumptuous, and it obviously does a job, because it's really preventing the wind from getting in like my other helmets would normally do. And of course, where you have gaps where wind can get in, that's where you have noise which can get in, and well, basically wind inside a helmet translates to noise. So this is noticeably quiet, and that's one of the things Shoei trade on with this new Neotec 3. And it's definitely, I mean, for motor vlogging, it's fantastic because I can actually hear myself think. Mind you, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's noticeably quieter, so that's great. Let's talk about the Field Division. It's not as big as some of the adventure helmets I've used in the past, but then I suppose with the mechanism and the whole design of the flip up front, I'm not sure it could be any wider than it is. Saying that, I can still see from my peripheral vision, I can still see, well, 180 degrees from side to side. I can't see any corner of the helmet coming into my view, so vision wise I don't have to tilt my head to see what's to the immediate left or to the immediate right of me, which is handy, you know, when you come to a standstill at a roundabout. So again, it's ticking all the boxes so far. Let's talk about the ventilation, which is one of the key things I always look for in a helmet, as I'm sure you do, especially if you live in warmer climes. It doesn't bother me so much living in Ireland. One of the things I first noticed when I went out for the first ride with this helmet on a month ago is that I could feel the cold air coming through the helmet straight away with the vents open, which is really great because that's not always the case on other helmets. So the ventilation works really good. I can't feel any air coming through the chin vent, but then if you look inside the helmet you can't see any vents immediately where your mouth is, and again I suppose that's a good thing, otherwise you'd be chattering your teeth, I suppose. So I'd say that's just to let air in and come up over the inside of the visor, and just to give you a sort of mild airflow within the interior of the helmet. But all in all, that's extremely comfortable with the airflow. I love the design of this helmet, and of course, I mean, this is all subjective, but I particularly love this colour. Actually, when I bought this over Christmas, when I was looking around on different websites, I thought, well, you know, buy local and all that. So I clicked onto Crossan's website. It's called thevisorshop.com, and didn't they have a sort of flash sale on? So normally the price of this helmet would be €800, and I got it for €680, and I think they only had the sale on for a week. So that was a little Christmas present to myself. I was absolutely delighted, as I am, to be honest, with the helmet. Now, this is an unusual thing. The weight of the helmet is 1,765 grams. My Shoei GT Air 2 is 200 grams lighter at 1,565 grams. And yep, you guessed it, this helmet feels lighter. What's that about? I just don't understand that. So saying that, I haven't done any sort of full days yet on any of the bikes, just because of the way the weather is. But I shall obviously be reporting back to you when I do start going further afield, when that weather warms up a bit. In the box you get the pin lock and an instruction manual, just in case you don't know how to put your helmet on, and also a little tube of lubricant for the mechanism at either side of the helmet where the visor clicks on and off. Also built into the helmet, and this is another reason I plumbed for this, is the flip down sun visor. They just come in so handy. And even though I bought a lovely pair of motorcycle sunglasses last year, the Oakley ones, I still have to rely on my memory serving me well to take the sunglasses out every time I go for a spin. So in case you get caught out, the flip down sun visor is, in my view, a must-have on any helmet. It has really saved the day. Actually, technically it's saved the evening, because on summer evenings when the sun starts setting low, I think that flip down visor is an absolute godsend. I'll be very interested to see what the helmet sounds like when I get back, because I can hear myself perfectly. It'll be interesting to see if there are any wind rumblings within the helmet on the microphone. Now, for the one thing that I don't quite like, it's the little button here at the bottom of the visor. Now, you can pull the visor down and lock it into place, but to release it you need to press that button and flip up the visor at the same time, which well, I found it quite tricky so far with my winter gloves on. I suspect when I'm using summer gloves it won't be as tricky, but at the moment it's a little bit fiddly. Saying that, the visor will stay down at its bottom position without having to be locked in, so you can still have full protection from the visor, which is, I found over the last month of owning this, that's what I've been doing, so I haven't been locking it into place. And again, you can just use the little lip which is in the center of the screen. I don't know why they went that way this time round rather than having the lip on the side. One of the reports I read said Shoei were worried about the screen over time, or the visor rather, over time maybe going out of shape because all of the pressure was on the side of the visor when you're opening and closing it. Don't know if there's any truth in that, that's just what I read. But anyway, everything is in the center, and in terms of position of the visor as well, it does click into place at a few nice levels, well, user-friendly levels, let's say. So this level is its sort of first click open. That just lets a lovely little bit of air flow underneath the bottom of the visor, and then all of the positions, like I say, are user-friendly because they don't sort of block your eye line. Well, not for me anyway. Unless your eyes are halfway down your head, then you shouldn't have any problem either. And another thing I do like is that when the visor is in any position, it stays there. It doesn't get blown open or closed by the wind. Now, saying that, I haven't exactly been on a racetrack using this, and nor will I, but certainly for general everyday riding and touring, it shouldn't be a problem. It certainly hasn't been so far. And of course, there's no problem finding that big red button at the bottom of the helmet, which actually opens the front face of the helmet. And when you flip the front of the helmet right back, it locks into position. And that really does allow you to soak up the elements. I can't wait for the sun. It's long overdue here. And of course, even when you've got the front of the helmet wide open and locked into place, you can still bring the visor down just for a little bit of eye protection, especially on those summer evenings with all the bugs around. So with all of that said, and all of that in mind, I think it's time to head out on the naked bike just to see how it performs on that. I must apologise at this stage for the camera mount and safety cord occasionally coming into the shot, but I have to make these videos somehow. The correct model name and the colour scheme I opted for, by the way, is called the Shoei Neotec 3 Grasp TC5 Flip Front Helmet in black and red. Incidentally, the helmet is designed with cutouts and storage for the new Sena SRL3 intercom system, which will be a seamless fit as I've done this with previous models and it works beautifully. Of course, you'll also be able to fit other intercoms, but that will affect the new glancing off technology and also the airflow. The helmet has the highest safety rating, which is the ECE 22.06 standard, and the shell is multi-layer fiberglass. It's also safety rated for open and closed use. On board the naked bike, yes, I can hear the airflow, but it is still way quieter than my GT Air 2, and the other observation is that the helmet is really well balanced. I have other helmets which are front heavy, albeit adventure style helmets, but even after riding for an hour they literally become a pain in the neck. I know this has everything I want for an all-round touring helmet, and of course I'm going to upset that beautiful, sleek, wind-resistant design now by fixing the camera back on board. So there you have it, folks. That's pretty much all I can say about this helmet. I'm super impressed with it, and I'm delighted with my purchase. I bought it really to serve the purpose of, well, my sort of riding, which is mainly touring, mainly messing about on the naked bike as well. And well, it ticks all of the boxes for me, and of course I can ride in all temperatures and not worry about, you know, feeling a little bit suffocated. I love the idea that I can flip the front of the helmet up now. I've never had a helmet which does that, so looking forward to the hot, lazy, hazy, sunny days. Really looking forward to riding a bike in that, but I think I'll get many years of enjoyment out of this helmet, and of course stay tuned to the channel, and I'll keep you informed, especially if I come across something which I don't quite like. Once again, thanks for tuning in. I'm Dave Perry, Wheelie Good TV, over and out.